reason why LA can't have a football team, because we have fair weather fans, because no one's really from LA.
Right,
so,
right.
I mean, I think had I, been from a town like Taylor was from, or Elliot was from, like somewhere in the South or the Midwest or something, then I probably would have showed up to a mall full of thousands of people. But, I was from LA, so I did a few radio stations and visited my high school, which was fun. But I didn't have like the same experience of like, oh my God, everybody knows who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess in a way that was probably good for me, because I, didn't allow my head to blow up so large.
I think people like us in the Midwest, we look at LA and we think it's glamorous and kind of kooky and weird, and everyone there wears a size 0 from what we read. Is it really that bizarre living in LA? And where do you find a size 0 anyway?
Where do you find a size 0?
They don't have
I don't
size 0
know,
in
because I don't wear a size 0. No, it's not completely like that. I mean, I'm sort of just like how we were talking earlier. You guys are defensive of like Minneapolis. It's like, yeah, it's cold, but we love it. Like, we hate the winter, but we love it.
Right.
I'm kind of like that with LA. It's like, all the kooky people who come to LA are not from LA. Like the most normal people that I've met were born and raised there, and like aren't really a part of that crazy scene. And it's more people who like come from other cities and are like searching for this stardom that they think is just at the tip of their fingers. And
the out-of-towners are ruining it for the rest
the
of you.
out-of-towners are ruining it all. Of course, no one from Minnesota.
Right.
But
Those are nice.
that's like always my like, oh, I'm defensive of it. But I mean, I don't know. I grew up very suburban life, very normal, and I wasn't part of the Hollywood scene. I never even saw paparazzi in LA. I knew they existed, but I never even saw one. That's how little time I spent in those areas of like Hollywood until I came off of the show. I would go to like some diner on the west side, and I was like, oh, okay, this is where they hang out. Now I know. So.
Have you been starstruck by anyone that you've met with your success?
Sure, I've met.
Who has given you the chills?
Well, Celine Dion gave me the chills.
Tell me about meeting her.
Well, I saw her show in Vegas, and I was lucky enough to get backstage passes and meet her before the show. And I was always a huge fan of hers. She was so gracious to all her fans, and there was a couple backstage with their baby, and she was literally holding the baby and talking to them for 15 minutes. She was the sweetest, the meet and greet. So I was like very awestruck by her. And I mean, of course, gosh, I've met all the hot A-list actresses. I'm always shocked by all of them. I'm always just kind of like in awe. Demi Moore, Naomi Watts, Katie Holmes, Tom
What was
Cruise.
Demi Moore? Oh, let's talk Demi Moore and Tom Cruise. What were they like?
Great. I did a movie with her daughter, Rumor Willis, and she was on the set all the time. It's sweeter than pie, just normal, like really normal.
Speaking of being on the set, the American Idol experience, we're seeing it more and more where they're in, what do they call it, the mansion where everybody's together.
Oh.
Yeah.
And they seem to be amping up the drama in recent seasons. Were you a part of that? Did you experience that where they say, okay, we need to have a little conflict here? Because it seems like the show's kind of going in that direction now.
No, and I'm really glad I wasn't. We didn't have the whole mansion thing. We had our own rooms, and we roomed with other people, and I'm glad my parents weren't put in that awkward position to like say what they thought after what the judges had to say. That's so uncomfortable. Like,
Yeah.
First of all, like it totally allows people to make fun of your parents, They're just plucked out of nowhere and put in the spotlight, and they don't know what to say. Of course, they're gonna be like, "Well, I love my kids; they're great." So awkward. So I'm glad I wasn't a part of that.
Tell me about what you think about Paula Abdul leaving. Do you think it'll be a success without her?
I do. I think people will be more interested in what Ellen has to say. I mean, I was excited that Ellen would be a part of the show. I think I'll stir things up in a good way.
Yeah, it's definitely going to get a whole lot of eyeballs to the screen the first time it's on, because she's she's such a huge fan of the show, and she's
funny, and she's cool.
Now, what you're just here for it like a day more. What are you gonna do? What's on your schedule? As not not promotion stuff, but just what are you gonna do while you're hanging in Minnesota?
I'm gonna go back to my hotel. We're going to Target headquarters for fun meetings, and I'll probably change my clothes and giving you extreme details here. Change my clothes, put something else on, and then I'll probably come back and take a nap, and then go to the gym.
That is an exciting life you lead, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so exciting.
It kind of sounds like my life, actually.
It's quite lonely, actually, on the road.
I bet it is. Do you travel a lot while you're doing this type of thing?
Yeah.
While you're promoting your CD?
Yeah. So I'll go to the gym, and then I do actually have two friends who live in Minnesota, and they're coming up, driving 2 hours, and we're going to get dinner tonight.
Oh, that's nice.
By the way, I've eaten some great food here in Minnesota and Minneapolis.
We do have good food here, don't we?
What was the restaurant we went to last night? The tapas place. Have you ever been? It's been there for 2 years.
Solera.
Solera is great. Yeah, all the little plates that you get.
Oh my gosh, the food was incredible. So and I had good sushi the night before, and then I'm going to Arkansas tomorrow, and I'm thinking the food might not be as good there.
Not unless you get barbecue.
Oh really?
Well, it's the South.
Okay.
Say hi to Chris Allen's family while you're down there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's where
Well,
they're from.
Katherine, it's been great talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
And the new CD is called Unbroken. That's coming out January. And then the single, which is already out, is called
January
Got It All.
5th.
January 5th. Thank you, Katherine.
You have a total Minnesota